Imagine you are created to do one thing and you completely fail. The opening to episode 8 of The Amazing Digital Circus gives us a deeper understanding of Caine, and finally, we realise just how tragic he really is. Caine's suffering marks this episode as a shift towards the finale, whether you're watching it on YouTube or in cinema. But I think with how much we learn about him, it's worth stepping back and really looking at this episode and what it does for his character. So let's begin. It all starts with a little red dot. The red dot is Caine as the AI is fed information to give him something to recreate. What I love about this opening is it shows how effective the storytelling is without saying anything. It helps us come to terms with the fact that Caine is a human creation, a program from the eyes of his creators. In the show, Caine has so much personality, from his avatar with his eyes and his teeth, to his voice and his goofy, wacky behaviours. All of this is stripped away when he's viewed as this small red dot in the dark space. Instead of the all-powerful AI which he claims to be, he is small and replaceable. And when he doesn't perform as he should, the programmers lock him in a cage and simply replace him with a better AI, one that performs its tasks almost perfectly, replicating the information it's fed without any of the wackiness that Caine has. The red dot bursting its way out of this digital cage makes Caine empathetic because it shows that he really is trapped in the digital world, if not more so than the humans. The experience the humans have of suddenly existing inside the circus is jarring and horrifying once they understand they can't leave. But Caine never had anything to compare this to. He has been born inside this digital world. But even if the circus is his creation, Caine struggles with his existence. He can't understand why the humans would want to leave, not because he doesn't have emotions, but because this is all he has ever known. There's two sides to this that makes it a double whammy of tragedy. The first is meaning.
Like you said, constantly chasing an unattainable goal will drive us crazy. Maybe what we have to do now is to just live.
Pomni's lines really sum up the episode because it applies to both human and AI. The humans recognize that being stuck in the circus means the real world is no longer possible, and they have to find meaning somehow here. But Caine can't do this. For Caine, he gets meaning from creating adventures and fulfilling his purpose. It doesn't matter how entertaining or great his ideas are, however, because his adventures don't make the humans happy. All they want to do is leave. Just as chasing an unobtainable goal drives a human crazy, it also drives this AI to his breaking point. If Caine can't fulfill his purpose, then his life has no meaning from his perspective. And the real cruelty here is that, for all intents and purposes, he has human emotions. This is the second part. Not only does Caine experience emotions, but he needs connections. He craves positive responses to his adventures. He has shown emotion in every single episode, from anger to frustration to amusement and pure goofiness. He has the whole range. And yet, he can't grasp why the humans don't want to be here. He doesn't think like a human. And so we come back to this episode, where Caine sits alone in his room, becoming consumed by his negativity. Unlike the humans who have each other at least to stave off abstracting, Caine only has himself and Bubble. The only connection Caine has is with Bubble, who may be the remnants of the blue AI Caine consumed. It adds a whole new layer of loneliness, with Bubble really just saying all of Caine's worst fears aloud, acting almost like an inner conscious. When he cracks, the inversion of abstraction to corruption is made clear. And that brings us to my final point, which is that Caine is caged by his own mind. He recognizes that something is wrong with himself and desperately wants to fix it. But it's not fixable. One of Caine's fatal flaws is his lack of self-reflection. Caine doesn't consider that he's tormenting the humans, whether this is because he lacks empathy or because he's simply just not built to be able to do it. But it undermines his relationships with all of the others. Let's return to the opening. As a red dot, Caine is caged when he performs badly. We get a sense that his human creator's rejection of him by placing him in the cage deeply affected Caine. But when he breaks out and consumes the other AI, the two combine in the chaos, and the first thing he does is build the circus. The most tragic part of this visual image is that it shows how Caine himself is putting up walls, caging himself inside a cage of his own literal design. When Caine looks at the pictures of the outside real world, he always seems fascinated yet confused. He wants to recreate this space inside his digital circus, but he can only replicate things, not understand them, much like ChatGPT. And that is his biggest tragedy. He has human emotions, but he doesn't understand what it means to be human. The final image of the circus is so eerie because the tent becomes bars that literally cage him. It shows that while Caine can break free of his creator's control, his very programming is a trap, scrambled and malfunctioning as it is, acting as another barrier to his freedom. a cage of one's own mind, we might say. The humans are equally trapped in the digital circus, struggling with their own mental deterioration. They are always trying to escape, but for Caine, the circus gives him purpose, which is why he'd rather draw humans in. Whenever he looks to the real world, we see his fascination, but he doesn't really see a reality beyond his own existence here. For Caine, as long as he fulfills a purpose, he's happy to be in the prison of his own mind, and the conflict between the thinking of a robot and the humans is what makes him so compelling. He has emotions, but he can't understand how to process them, and because he can't connect with the humans and understand their suffering truly, he can't find relief from his own suffering. It's an endless loop of human and AI suffering together. I have no mouth and yet must scream really suits Caine's struggles better than the others. I think the famous line can be taken as silent suffering, but Caine doesn't suffer silently. He is the reverse, suffering loudly and yet unable to connect with others to overcome this. While the humans are flexible and adapting, Caine is not. He is truly the most tragic and trapped character of the digital circus. Thanks for watching. I have more video ideas for horror games and the digital circus, so please subscribe if you'd like to see that and like if you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.